Good afternoon, East Carolina Mechanical family, and welcome to March the 11th, 2026. Man, time is just rolling. Back here in the studio with my guy Biggie for our Hanging 10 episode for this week. So, let's jump right in. I want to give you guys some updates on some things that you need to know about that affect you and those guys around you. Our safety guy, Stan, sent out an email this week to project managers, superintendents, all of our leaders about these things right here. These little things right here, these cards. We are using some technology called Safety 101. And so, what this is going to allow you guys to do is each of you guys get your own little QR code, and all of your certifications will be tracked through this QR code. So, if you have fall protection, whatever kind of training, fall protection, if you're a low operator, all of those kinds of things at any time, you need to keep these cards with you. So instead of having this huge stack of all of your certifications, you only have one. The only other card you do need to carry with you, according to Stan, is if you have an OSHA 10 or OSHA 30 card, which should be pretty much everybody, most everybody. So keep this card and your OSHA 10 or your OSHA 30 with you at all times. And so what happens is, let's say somebody wants to see you and you're driving a law. Somebody wants to see your law license. They can scan this. It'll take you right to your page. It doesn't actually even go to the company page. It goes to your page so everybody can see your certification. Really cool technology right there. There's a lot of things that we're going to utilize this for. Stan's been working really hard to get all the data put in. Really excited about this technology. So if you got any questions, ask your superintendent, ask your project manager. They'll be glad to go over it with you a little bit more. But hey, if I've got one, everybody should have one because I don't eat, all of my stuff is old. I'm excited to use this technology. If you see Stan out and about, he came up with this. This is his baby. Thank him for that. I think that's really awesome. I'm excited to have it. Next thing, as most of you know, I know we all know everybody's business and the things that are going on. We had a pretty significant accident up at Legacy Hall in Greenville last week. Elvis Schreckengoss was cutting some duck with a portaband, and the portaband blades were not meant to be cutting sheet metal with. The blade kicked, cut Elvis's finger pretty severely. Had to have some work done to the end of his finger. So what that says is, you may not have known because I didn't know. That's why I'm sharing it. I'm not picking on Elvis in any way, shape, form, or fashion. I'm not picking on anybody, but all port-a-band blades are not made equal. I'm being told that if you're using a port-a-band to cut sheet metal with, you need like a 22 uh, teeth per blade or teeth per inch blade. And If you have something smaller, like a 17, I think they make a 17, which is a lot more coarse, that blade is more likely to catch and kick. And that's really what created the accident with Elvis. He wasn't using the tool improperly, had an improper blade. Don't know if he knew there was a difference in blade. Like I said, I did not. Um, we're stocking all of those blades here in the warehouse. If there's a question, flip that box over and look on the back. It will tell you what that blade is appropriate to cut for. And so if you're trying to cut something that it is not appropriate to cut for, don't do it. Too much risk. Don't want anybody else to get hurt. Yeah, that's a all call safety message from that. So learn from that. If you got any questions, superintendents, foremen, assistant superintendents, even our lead tradesmen, if you have a question about that, contact Stan directly. He's done a lot of digging into that over the last week or so to know what's right to keep anybody else from getting hurt. So also, if you see Elvis, wish him the best. He was back at work the next day, but it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. So glad it wasn't any worse, and hate that it was as bad as it is, type thing. So anyway, uh, be sure you're using the right blade for the right application so you don't get hurt, and go home safe. Another couple of things. Have another new round of policies rolling out. The one that's easiest to talk about is our parental leave. So if you're a mom or dad and you are expecting a baby, as a matter of fact, Ben Parker and his wife. Actually, his wife is having the baby today. I guess Ben's probably just going to be along for the ride. Um, Having a baby today. Uh, and if you adopt, maybe you're a grandparent that's adopting a grandchild, or maybe you're a parent like me who just adopted a Chinese kid, or a kid out of the foster program, or some type of placement along those lines, a foster placement, some of those kinds of things. We have written a policy so that you guys will get a week of paid leave to be with your family. We think that family is important. We know that family is important. We want to be more flexible in that. And so that's something new that has just started in the last couple of weeks. And so actually, like I said, Ben's going to be the first recipient of that, which is pretty cool. So if you got any questions, feel free to call in and ask Brandy in HR about that policy. But brand new, 40 hours of paid leave for adoptions, births, those kinds of things. Another new policy that will be rolling out here shortly in multiple kinds of ways is what we're trying to do is our conflict management policy. Conflict management policy talks about how you're supposed to handle conflict. And so that is uh, mostly a management type procedure, so that if two employees are having a problem with one another, there is a set procedure for how we are to manage that conflict, how that is supposed to roll up the chain of command, down the chain of command, all the things that are supposed to be done. The main thing when dealing with conflict, the main thing with dealing with conflict is to maintain a professional and courteous nature. Remember that core principles are leadership, teamwork, people, and solutions all work into conflict, all work into conflict. So if there is somebody on your project that you have a conflict with, the right way to handle that is to go directly to him. That's biblical, but that's also in the policy. Go directly to that person and say, hey, you've offended me and I don't like the way that you handled this, and seek resolution that way. Um, if that's not fruitful and not helpful, then there is steps in the policy that help you move on from that. And that's where your superintendent, that's why I say it's leader heavy. The superintendent will then be trained on the next steps to take that. But we believe that in 99% of the cases, a courteous, straightforward, hey, I don't like the way this happened. Not yelling and screaming, not blowing your chest up, being tough, but a courteous, and both sides remember our core principles, can work through that any conflict that comes about. So that'll be coming out soon uh, to superintendents, leaders, all those kinds of things first. So then one other thing, our scripture and devotion this week came from, as you know, we've been going track working through John, and right now I am at John 15 verse 1. Going to read it. It's a little bit long, and I'll go through it because I'm running short. If we're hanging 10, it's probably going to be hanging 12. But here we go. It says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes so it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I spoke to you. Remain in me, and I'll remain in you. Um, no branch can bear fruit by itself, it must be in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. If you remain in me, and I am in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. All right, so what I shared with the group this week when I led this devotion on Monday, we're not quite a month out past Valentine's Day. And so I know a lot of you guys uh, gave flowers to your wife, your girlfriend, significant other, all of those kinds of things. Some of you ladies may have received some flowers. And so what happens with flowers? When you go and you buy flowers, they're already starting to bloom and they're pretty. That's why you buy them. They're nice. And so they're put into this vase, and there is a false source there, right? Um, there's water in the vase, and sometimes they put some sugar and some plant food and all that stuff, correct? But inevitably, what happens? The flowers die, right? I know that I got Mary Ellen flowers, and Christopher also got her flowers, and they lasted about 2 weeks. They were pretty, but they died and passed away, and we threw them out. And so this scripture is talking about that same kind of concept. That it's talking about fruit, but you can use flowers as well. That those flowers, once you cut them off, they're going to die. It's not if, it's when. They're going to die. They're going to get brown. They're going to fall apart, and they're going to end up in the trash can. They're not good for anything after that. And so, what we need to remember with our relationship with Jesus is that apart from Him, you can't produce fruit. And so, for a season, some of us can be like those flowers. We can get chopped off and we can get put in the vase and we can look like we're living a great life and we can be pretty. Even I know some of you rough guys and me, we can be pretty. Uh, but eventually, when cut off from the source, we lose what gives us life. And so, think about that. If you're a Christian, what are you doing to maintain your connection to the source? How are you staying in step with what Jesus is doing in your life? You know, there's Bible study, there's church, there's reading your scriptures, there's praying, there's meditation, being in fellowship with believers are always to maintain your connection to the vine. And so, if you're not there, are you just set in a vase and maybe dying? I've been there. I've been there myself, where I had kind of set myself away from the vine, and I was really suffering. And so, if you don't know Jesus, I want you to think about that. Think about the things that give you hope and the things about that ground you. And if you struggle with that, I know a guy, and his name is Jesus. And so I would love for you to be attached to his vine. So, anyway, hanging 12 with Biggie today. I appreciate your patience. Love you guys. Y'all have an awesome week. I'll see you back here in the studio with my man Biggie. I'm getting ready to have some changes on him. It's going to be pretty fun. Hopefully, have them soon. But anyway, you guys have a great week. Love you. Thing just doesn't turn off, and it frustrates me.